Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. Oh, look, Rabbi Orenstein is making us hello in the poster. Bravo, Sandra. You choose nice pictures. Today is Wednesday, November 1st, 2023, 17 Heshvan 5784. My name is Gladys Perez Mualem, coordinator of Women Learning Group of the Spanish and Portuguese Synagogue, Montreal, a program created by our today speaker, our previous guitarist, Rabbi Shachar Orenstein, 14 years ago, following a year of adult bat mitzvah celebrated on July 5, 2009. Amid the chaos of the war in Gaza between Israel and Hamas, we appreciate Rabbi Schachar Orenstein for giving us the musical session as planned ahead. Israel music, old and new. Our session is dedicated to Israel with prayers, music, videos, and songs. Thanks to Rabbi Orenstein at the time when we need distraction and some need to be together. We thank Sandra Kuku for the beautiful artistic posters and all her help and advertisement. We thank Gigi Bitton for her comment on each session, as per our synagogue website and YouTube. We thank our office manager Françoise Baboulot for advertising and putting each session on YouTube. We thank Senia for her wonderful recording also. We thank all the office staff and especially our Women Learning Group, who are the pillars of our wonderful program, with great support and constant donations to keep us going. Our next Wednesday speaker will be the well-known, our friend, dermatologist, Dr. Alfred Bilbul, followed by Eta Yudin, Vice President of CIJA, then Maitre Alan Murad, Rabbi Yoshua Ellis, ending the 8 sessions with a musical celebration by our Reverend Cantor Daniel Ben Lolo. All our sessions at the same hour and same Zoom details as today. Rabbi Schachar Orenstein, bevakasha, bechavod.
Tada, Gladys. Thank you so much for continuing this amazing program. I lit a spark and then you have been running with it, and it's been extraordinary. And I know you have a great support cast too. And I know Sandra helps with the flyers and Gigi with the write-ups, and it takes a team. So it's so great to be with all of you once again. And it's really comforting to see you at this time. It's been quite a few intense weeks and quite challenging and difficult and complicated. And so what I'm hoping today is that through this session, it'll help at least give us some strength, some comfort. And I don't know how Gladys knew. Gladys chose this topic. It was months ago, and it seems very apropos, right? She wanted to do something about Israel and Israeli music, and it's no one knew that this was going to happen. So I shifted things a little bit, because in fact there's so much Israeli music that has come out of tragedy and war, and I would argue some of the best Israeli music is a response to hardship and challenges of being in Israel. So it was not easy for me to put this presentation and interactive musical session together, in part because my mother lives over here. This is where she lives. You see here the marina in Ashkelon. And as you may know, Ashkelon is the center of where over 1,000 missiles and rockets have been targeted. And especially the first few days when my mother was there, it was very difficult for me. She was having to run to the bomb shelters very often, and I wanted her to get out. And so finally, on my birthday, on October 11th, she fled to my brother in Tel Aviv, and thank God now she's in San Francisco. And she sent a new musical piece that I'm going to share with you later on as well. I hope I have a number of different pieces, some live, some recorded, some it's a musical that I think can give us strength and hope and comfort at this time. So that's Ashkelon, and it raises the question: how are we dealing? How are we coping with the war? There's so many different ways to cope. For the first 5 days, especially, I was glued to the Israeli TV day and night. I get it on the computer, Israeli TV, and I was watching it. And there's so many different ways. Today, we're going to focus on one of them. This is a rabbi of mine, teacher. A rabbi needs a rabbi. He's one of my teachers. And this is one of his responses. How to deal. He's an Israeli rabbi. He's related to the chief rabbi of Israel. This is Rabbi Amichai Lau, who is now in Israel, offering support to people. And when he left New York City, he brought with him this roll of fragile stickers. And he put one on himself, and he's putting them on other people too, which I thought was just so sweet, just to remind us that at this time, we're fragile. A lot of us have a lot of anxiety and anger and fear, and it's just so much going on. And so just want to say that it's okay. It's normal to feel a little bit of fragile. And if I had one of those stickers, I'd put one on me. Actually, we can put one on, I'm sure, on everybody, as in our hearts and our thoughts and our prayers have really been overseas at this time. So there's different ways of responding to the situation. This is one of the ways that I've been responding is grief and quiet, right? Like Aharon, like Aaron did after the loss of his sons. He was quiet, and that's one way that I've been doing this. In addition to that, I've been leading some prayer vigils, in Quebec City, in British Columbia, in Montreal, and now virtually to deal with the situation. And I invite us to be part of the Israel prayer team today. And the idea is behind this session, as it says, prayerful musical gatherings can be a great comfort in difficult times. So that's really my goal for us today, for you and for me. And I've been finding that this has been effective. Oh, hi. We have Clara and Doron. Welcome. All right. Thank you, Ksenia, for helping with everything. So we're now ready to go into this, which is a screen, just to show this idea of how prayer and song can be helpful at such a time. This is a screen grab that I got from my phone as I was watching the Israeli news just yesterday, and Shirei Ga'agua, and this is there's an email there that if you have lost someone in Israel, then if you want a special song made, a memorial song, that you can email. And actually, they played some of this music on Israeli TV, which I caught yesterday, which I thought was interesting in light of our session today. So I wanted to share that with you. And so this is outside of Shar Shamayim, right? So just to remind us of I'm sure I don't need to remind us of what's been going on. This is some of the many people who have been are hostage. This is right in front of Akiva and Shal Shamayim on Kensington, and actually the Prime Minister was just there a few days ago as well. So I think I want to share with you, just to start off, one response. This is a new piece of music, a new recording, let's say, and forgive me, we're going to move from feeling some of the challenging feelings to hopefully to optimism and hope later on in the presentation. I do want to honor that it hasn't been easy. And this is from the Israeli opera, and it's based on Les Miserables. Some of you may have seen this clip. I've chosen some of my favorite clips that have given me strength and have expressed something, a part of my feelings. So this I'd like to share with you. This is actually, Les Miserables is one of my favorite musicals, and we had Cantor Biton, actually as part of the Women Learning Group, who I still remember to this day. He taught us about Les Miserables and gave us a really deep understanding and appreciation. So this is one of the pieces. This is called Bring Him Home in the original, and they've adapted it, Bring Them Home, in reference to those who are not home at this time, and we don't want to even imagine what they've been facing, the hostages. So here we go.
Very nice. Thank you, Rabbi.
I'm sorry. It's brought me to tears.
This is a reality.
It is, and it's amazing how this tragedy is brought together the whole country. You have the opera, Israeli opera praying. The opera is turning into like a synagogue. And to that, we can, trying to get to the next slide. Oh. Computer, oh, there we go. So, yeah, good. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. So, keeping in mind those who could use some prayer, some tefillah, I'd like to share now a live prayer, prayerful song that comes from the Siddur. And this is a line. Actually, I went to a shiva last night. Professor Gershon Hunter, who was a teacher of mine, Rabbi Leibish's father, passed away. I went to the shiva last night, and this was one of the Tehillot that I heard over there as well. This is a song. I don't think many of us know it, but I learned it actually when I was at the Sha'ar Shamayim 20 years ago. And let me share with you the words. The words are Acheinu kol Beit Israel, which means the whole house of Israel, all of Israel are like our siblings, right? Hanetunim b'tzara, who are having a hard time. Tzara from tzarot, like Mitzrayim, tzuris in Yiddish, uvashivya, and in captivity. This is a prayer for captives, for people who are having a hard time, which is really the entire country. I'm trying not to go into too much politics, but thinking more of prayerfulness. So ha'omdim ben bayam uven basha, there we have people trying to protect us on the sea and in the land. Hamakom yirachem. So God, this is a reference to God. God here is referred to as Hamakom. The rabbis often refer to God as Hamakom, which literally means the place, which is an interesting name for God. All those places where they are, God should have yirachem, like from the word rechem, like a womb, like a mother's womb. Rachmanut, right? Compassion comes from a womb. It's a beautiful Hebrew word. So God should have compassion on them. V'yotziem will bring them out from tzara, from that narrowness, li'ovacha, to expansiveness. Ume'afela, which means from the darkness, le'ora, or, to the light. Mishibud, from captivity, of slavery, as it says here, or legeula, to redemption. And then you might recognize this line from the Kaddish, Hashta bagala uvizman kariv, which means very, very soon. We ask for the end to suffering very, very soon, as speedily as possible. And so I'll lead us here in this prayer for our brothers and sisters and siblings in captivity and in distress, and all of us are feeling it, I'm sure. Acheinu kol Beit Israel, Acheinu kol Beit Israel, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. אחינו כל בית ישראל, אחינו כל בית ישראל, נתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה, ברכה ואפלה לאורה, השיבו לי גאולה השתה, בגל ההוא בזמן קריב. המקום ירחם, ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה. ברכה ואפלה לאורה, השיבו לי גאולה השתה, בגל ההוא בזמן קריב. That's what prayers that we should feel the expansiveness that all those people in distress should feel expansiveness very, very soon. And you're welcome to join me in any of the songs, especially when I go off key. I think that was a little low for me, that key for now, but God still understands. So that's Acheinu from the Siddur. And now, next tefillah, prayerful song, which is, so this is Acheinu. It's an older prayer with a newer melody. And now I'm hoping Gladys will be back to hear, because she really wanted me to include something from my daughter, Hannah. And so that's what I'd like to do. And this is a song that Hannah wanted to share with you. This is a song, it's called Shma Elohai, and it was performed by a woman by the name of Sarit Haddad. Sarit Haddad is a well-known Israeli singer. She made it very popular, this song, and she wrote this song in a response to tragedy. This song was written in 2000, about 23 years ago, after the brutal lynching of 2 reserve soldiers in Ramallah 23 years ago. And she wrote this very beautiful song. I'm going to put the words to this song in the chat. Hopefully I can do that right now, so you can follow along the words, and we'll share with you as well the translation. So if you can access your chat, you'll see. So that's the transliteration. If you want to sing along, some of you might know the song. Shma Elohai means "Hear my God," and what it expresses, among other things, we'll look at the words. What it expresses is that we have feelings inside that only God knows. Right? It's hard to express everything we have in our hearts, and these words and these songs are one way to express them, but they're not always so easily expressed. So let's take a look. If you see in the chat, you'll see the words. I'm going to look at them in the English, and it says, "When the heart cries, only God hears." Right? There are silent cries, and Rabbi Nachman talks about silent screams in our hearts, and that pain. The pain rises out of the soul. A man falls down before he sinks down. With a little prayer, person cuts the silence. Shema, hear Israel, my God, you're the omnipotent. You gave me my life. You gave me everything. In my eyes, a tear, the heart cries quietly. And when the heart is quiet, the soul screams. Shema, and then the chorus, the pain is big and there's nowhere to run away. End it because I can't take it anymore. Make the end of it because I have no more energy left within me. When the heart cries, time stands still. All of a sudden, the man sees his entire life. He doesn't want to go to the unknown. He cries to his God right before a big fall. And this conveys also, I think, a little bit of the sentiment that we're feeling, the heartache. And so this is the song that Hannah wanted to share with you. This is, she's studying now in Vanier, classical voice in Vanier, and you'll see she's grown up a little bit since the last time you may have seen her. So here we go.
What a beautiful daughter you have, Rabbi.
And she's
very talented.
She's also blessed with a beautiful voice that she's developed. So this is what she wanted to convey at this time to all of us.
So
she's at school now, so she couldn't be here live. Huh? Looks frozen.
amazing. Thank you, Hannah. Beautiful, Hannah. Beautiful voice. Thank you, Rabbi. That's a great job. Thank you.
You did a great job of bringing me to tears, which is what that song talks about, is that the heart cries quietly. Does anybody want to share any thoughts or reflections at this time, other than Gladys or me? And before we move on to
you've always been there for us, and it's very comforting to hear you, Rabbi, just to know that you're there and just to hear what you have to say. It's good to know.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. You speak for all of us.
Yeah, probably, I'm sure.
we wish we didn't have such a heavy time. I'd rather do songs of joy, and however, we're going to get into some songs of resilience as well, and hope, resilience and hope. Up to now, it's been expressing the hard stuff and stuff that's the grief, really.
That's important to process that. You're right.
It is, and it is when there's a lot going on. And certain things get covered over. It's not easy emotionally.
It's so nice to watch how you are supporting this budding artist, your daughter. It's so precious. God bless you.
Bless her too. She's doing great. She has 3 performances, I think, this coming week at Vanier.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I can be at all of them. I wish I could, but
that's amazing.
Yeah.
What? I didn't hear.
Oh, she has 3 performances. Oh, okay. I know this is being recorded, but it's not for everybody. I'll just share one small anecdote. So for years, she wanted to be the lead in a musical, and finally she just got a role as the lead in a Gilbert and Sullivan musical that will be this spring, called The Grand Duke, and it's the Beaconsfield troupe, I think it is. And so she's so delighted. This is like a dream come true for her. So I'm very excited for her. She's working hard at school and at the musical. So thank God she's giving me lots of nachas. And
yeah, she deserved it. She was there in the music since she was little.
Yeah, I used to sing to her when she was in the womb.
You always invited me to the Siegel Center. And she always was the leader of the group.
Yeah.
They put her in the center and she was leading. And she was little.
Thank God. And yeah, she's sweet. And like lately when I lead services, sometimes she helps. And the people come after me after the service and they say, Rabbi, nice service. And your daughter, she was amazing. What a voice. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be overshadowed by my daughter.
You hear everywhere, you read everywhere that music really is like the only remedy.
Yeah.
The ultimate remedy for grief, but also for joy. It's
both.
Yeah.
And we have biblical examples, right? King David, like you were citing a Tehillim psalm earlier, Sandra. So we're going to get to that too. Actually, we should. That's a good segue. And David used to sing right for King Saul, right, on the harp, on the kino, right? That was kind of music therapy for the king. The future king offered music therapy for the.
You were always the champion of bringing music at the center of our communal life. Like, you supported so much, and even you and your daughter sang in the concerts that we did. I always believed that bringing music to blur the lines of, difficult change or difficulties. Music was always a way to bring us all together, and you were always there at the heart of that. And so God bless you.
And thank you. And you were instrumental with that too. And we're still doing it. So thank God. Thanks to everybody. It's so great to be with you. I want to switch gears a little bit and to remind us of it's not just grief, although that's there. We just had bad news overnight, with more death and soldiers, and it was not a great night, and every death is hard. And I want to switch gears nonetheless to something like actually Gladys asked that we sing Hatikva at the end. And I have a good friend, a childhood friend who's a professor, and she just recently gave a talk. It's called Hope Disrupted, Tikva Disrupted. So it's important, even though we have all this grief and anguish and anger, all these tough emotions and challenging, it's still important not to lose the hope. And that's also what these beautiful songs that we have in our traditions and so on talk about, that not to lose hope. There's still hope, and sometimes, it's just delayed. There's delays. So I want to share with you a clip that gave me some hope. Trying to remember, people have been sending me all kinds of clips. I'm trying to remember who gave this one to me. I don't remember now. I wish I did. But this one was, again, be careful. I don't want to go too much into politics, because that's a whole other domain. But this one gave me hope. It just reminded me about Israeli society, the good of Israeli society. And let me share this with you. And here we go.
People don't know, but each day there are tens of children and people from Gaza and from the West Bank being treated in Israeli hospital, receiving the best treatments for cancer and any other diseases. Israeli Jewish volunteers drive the parents back and forth from Gaza or from the West Bank. The niece of Ismail Haniyeh, who is the leader of Hamas, who is the brain behind this attack, she was hospitalized for a few months in Israel, just recently. We give the best possible treatment for everyone. And Judaism really values lives, right? Like, what is the first tenet? It's like, al tirtzach, right? Like, don't kill. We value life. We value human life. People don't know, but there are thousands of Gazan employees entering Israel every day to work through the Kerem Shalom checkpoint, right? It's the same place, border crossing, that the militants also used to infiltrate Israel. Thousands of them. They're working in Israel every day. Egypt didn't open its border to let the employment in. And they're calling Israel an apartheid. They're calling Israel making ethnic genocide. And this point is actually puzzling for me, because 25% of the Israeli population is actually Arabs. Most of them are Muslims. More than 20% are Muslims. I'm one of them, right? And so and the Arabs in Israel are getting equal rights, right? They're citizens for everything, getting welfare, education, healthcare, anything that a Jewish citizen would get. So how can we call this an apartheid or committing ethnic genocide? And just as a personal story about myself, my mother, I was born to a Bedouin family. Bedouins are nomadic Arabs. Only 3% of them finish high school. My mother is penniless and illiterate. She doesn't know reading and writing because her parents didn't believe that women have the right to go to school. They should be on the fields and herd the sheep. Israel, after it was founded, it forced all children to go to school. It's like mandatory. And it couldn't stand that there are girls who are not getting educated. So they forced them. They literally went to my grandparents' house and forced them to send the girls to school. This is why my only two younger aunts know reading and writing. If not Israel today, probably I wouldn't be alive, because I also got death threats from my uncles, because I was also the first ever Israeli Bedouin fashion model. But obviously he could not kill me, because like we're in Israel, right? Like it's not, like Israel protects women. If not Israel, I probably would be illiterate, penniless, herding sheep somewhere in Galilee, right? But I have electrical engineering degree. I have masters from Stanford University. And I have my rights to live my life the way that I wanted to live them, right? Israel, my mother was a single mom. I have 9 siblings. It's a very long story, from the same dad. And we lived on welfare. Israel gave us everything that it could give us, even though we were Arabs. And people are talking about apartheid and ethnical genocide. It just doesn't match the truth. It doesn't match the reality. They need to go and read the facts. And it's funny that sometimes it comes from intelligent students at elite universities saying this kind of nonsense. Thank you.
So that reminded me of some of the values that Israel stands for, and important to remember when, because sometimes these values get to be overshadowed by propaganda and so on. And again, I don't want to get too political. However, my intention is that it can help us focus in these songs, prayerful songs that we're looking at, and remind us what we're doing here. And
Rabbi, where is Eyal Beton?
that's coming. How did you know?
I
I know. I'm excited for that. Let me skip to that here. We have a whole bunch of. Oh, okay. I'm going to skip. You're going to see the whole thing here, but I'm going to, since you mentioned, that's a good. Did I? Okay, you're seeing my whole thing, but it's okay. Oh, here it is. So, good anticipation, Gladys. This is a song, again, showing Israeli response to tragedy and hardship. This was during COVID. And when a whole bunch of Israeli rock stars, musicians, hip hop artists got together to try to boost morale. And actually, as you know, Tzahal, the IDF, the Israel Defense Force, they have Lakat HaNachal, they have musicians, and this is a long-standing tradition to use music to bolster the spirits. So this was a bunch of over 40 famous Israeli singers. This is just a few years ago. And it's a celebration, as it says here. Yeah, it's called Katan Aleinu, which is translated to English. Well, literally, it's Katan is small and Aleinu is upon us, small upon us, which I like how they translate it. It's like, we got this, right? We got this. We've had struggles. We've been around. You remember, like Mark Twain talks about, we've been around for so many years. And so Katan Aleinu, it's like, this is a no biggie. We've got this. So I'm going to, just stop the screen share for just a moment, as the file was too big to embed in this presentation. So I'm going to reshare now the screen here. This is two wonderful people, Gigi's son and daughter-in-law, oops, yeah, you can see them right now on the screen, the two of them. Yeah, great. So this is a recording they made for the Women's Learning Group for Yom Ha'atzmaut, Independence Day, Israel Independence Day, just a few years ago, 73rd, I think it was. And so I think the message here applies for the situation that we're in, despite all the hardships that we have now and we had in the past. It's a great transition song to We've Got This. Wait, hang on. I need to make sure that I share the sound. Yeah, the sound is shared, so we're good.
What a special family, Gigi.
Yeah, and in fact, in fact, I should mention, yeah, we consulted with him, Cantor Biton, as also just in terms of potential songs to share with you today. So he's a great friend and talented, as you'll see. And she.
Thank you, Rabbi, for getting it from him. Thank you.
Here we go.
ארץ של שמש על הים התיכון, הגלים פה לא שקטים, זרמי המון.
מהחול של הנגב ועד החרמון, בית חם ובו כולם אומרים שלום.
מול כל מכשול וכל חידה, עוד תקוותנו לא עבדה.
מה עוד ליום זו לא נדע, ועל הכל נאמר תודה. משה היה, ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל, נעבור גם לזה.
לא ייפלו פנינו, זה קטן עלינו.
כמו שהיה, ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל, נעבור גם את זה. לא ייפלו פנינו, זה קטן עלינו.
קפה במרפסת, ריחות של שבת, ירדו לנו פה אותו דבר כמעט.
לשמור על הדגל, עוד פעם אחת, כמה עוד אפשר, הזמן עובר לאט.
מול כל מכשול וכל חידה, עוד תקוותנו לא עבדה.
מה יודעיד יום זו לא נדע, ועל הכל נאמר תודה. כמו שהיה, ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל, נעבור גם את זה. לא ייפלו פנינו, זה קטן עלינו. כמו שהיה, ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל, נעבור גם את זה.
לא ייפלו פנינו, זה קטן עלינו.
ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור,
ארץ ישראל יפה,
זה השיר ששר בה.
שלום, שלום, שלום על ישראל.
כחול ולבן, כחול ולבן,
מול כל מכשול וכל חידה, עוד תקוותנו לא עבדה.
מה יודעים יום זו לא נדע, ועל הכל נאמר תודה.
ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל, נעבור גם את זה. לא ייתנו פנינו, זה קטן עלינו.
כמו שהיה, ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל, נעבור גם את זה. לא ייפלו פנינו, זה קטן עלינו. כמו שהיה, ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל, נעבור גם את זה. לא ייפלו פנינו, זה קטן עלינו.
על הדבש ועל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על ידינו התינוקת, שמוררי הטוב.
על האש המבוערת, על המים חזקים, על האיש אשר הביתה מן המרחקים.
על כל
כמו שהיה, ככה יהיה, עברנו הכל,
נתן עלינו.
Amazing, amazing.
So great.
Thank you, Rabbi, for getting it.
What do you mean? I mean,
Thank you.
I did the easy part. I just pressed play, but yeah, Michelle, they put so much work into that, just the editing and everything, the music and the video. It's not easy to put something like that together. So it's worth seeing more than one time. And it also is evergreen. It applies yet again, right? We will overcome this. And also the amazing line, I don't know if you caught it, in the song, they played some Naomi Shemer. I'd like to look at that. One of the songs that they made reference to was Al Kol Ele, right? And there's a line there, Ala Isha Shav Habaita Min Hamerchakim, right? For the probably the husband who comes back from war and all the, people. It's also probably a reference to returning from war, returning from captivity. So these words are timeless. And actually, let me share this with you here. I did a little bit of research, and it was quite interesting what I found about the origins of this song that they refer to. And by the way, you can find Cantor Eyal Biton on YouTube. And if you want to hear it again and share it, I'm sure it's there for you. We can get you the link if you need.
Yes, everything will be on YouTube. And
oh yeah, that's true. This is also the link.
His comments.
So yeah, this is the reference they made was for Al Kol Ele, the bitter and the sweet, right? By Naomi Shemer. She wrote this in 1980, so 43 years ago. And like many of her songs, at first glance, this seems like a naive prayer hoping for the best. Taking a deeper look, one discovers how the personal and the national are woven together. Very much so. I think many of us have been feeling that. We have friends and family in Israel, so the personal is very connected. Like my brother still in the Tel Aviv area. And expressing the sentiment that has been part of the Jewish experience for centuries, a deep desire to protect loved ones, absolutely. Understanding that terrible things may come, praying for God's grace, alongside the ability to accept the good with the bad. And without the darkness, there's no light. Without the bitter, right? Alamar v'amatok, right? The bitter, we have no ability to recognize what is sweet. This song talks about accepting the bitter with the sweet, the sting with the honey, and ask God for protection over what the Jewish people have built in the land of Israel without clarifying where the personal ends and the collective begins, because in Israel, there's no clear line. She requests protection for her baby and for all the infants, for her home and the man returning from far. Does she mean her private house or Israel, her collective home? Does she mean her husband coming home from reserve military duty or all of Israel's soldiers? Doesn't matter. Okay, we don't have to go into all of it, but yes, I'll skip to here. This song is very Israeli expression of faith in God, not in a ritualistic sense, but in God, in that God is part of every aspect of our lives, including the honey and the bee sting, the garden, and even the walls. Al Kol Ele is a natural extension of our special relationship with God, a request for protection for all that is loved, family, home, and land, and a centuries-old promise, bring me home, and I'll return to the wonderful land. That is exactly what we have done. Amen. So these are...
You gave us once a whole session about Naomi Shemer.
Yes.
A whole session, Naomi Shemer, in the synagogue.
Yeah, and her song, her prayers, her songs are like prayers, are hymns. Yeah, and they have deep meaning, and they're still very, very applicable. So let's share one more Naomi Shemer, and that's Lu Yehi, which has a line that many people have been referencing and singing. Actually, this morning, it's so crazy. This morning, I was listening to the news, to NPR, National Public Radio in the United States, right? And they sang, they had a woman, they had a woman, here it is, Louis, they had a woman, Israeli, actually it was, okay, let me be clear. It was an American Israeli. She had dual national citizenship. She is now in Israel and she's singing in the army for the soldiers, for people in hospitals. And she, on the national NPR, I think it's in Montreal, it's 107.9 on the FM dial. I heard Lu Yehi. I heard this song, Naomi Shemel's song, just this morning, which I thought was pretty interesting. And there's a line there, I think, that really resonates as well for what's going on. So this was written by Naomi Shemel before the other one. 1980 was Al Kolele. This is 1973, 50 years ago, and has since become one of the symbols of the war. And right, there's been a lot of talk about how this surprise attack was similar and different from the Yom Kippur War. Here was also a surprise on a Simchat Torah versus Yom Kippur. Some people have been calling this the Simchat Torah War. Anyway, so it was written and composed by her during the 1973 war and has become one of the symbols of the war. Oh, I think that's twice there, forgive me. Before the war, Naomi Shemer decided to write Hebrew words for the Beatles songs, Let It Be, right? Let it be, let it be. She wanted to do the Hebrew version, but she didn't like the translations of the songs named to Sheyeh, which could be understood as whatever. Actually, we just heard that. And thought it should be given the name Lu Yehi, if it were so. And her version isn't a translation of the Beatles song, but a hopeful prayer for a quick end to the war and for the safety of the soldiers, of the idea of soldiers. This is the end of the summer, the end of the road. Let them come back, is one of the lines. And Mordechai Shevitz, her second husband, and a poet as well, who had just returned from the reserve military service, declared, I'll not let you waste this song on the tune of strangers. This is about a Jewish war and you must write a Jewish melody. This statement rang true for Naomi, and accordingly, she changed the tune to fit the Hebrew words. So it's based on Let It Be, but she changed it somewhat. And the second stanza of the song, this is a heavy one, sometimes it's left out. If the messenger is standing in the door, put good news in his mouth, whatever we ask may it be. Was later omitted in most performances of the song, except by Chava Albertstein, who was my dad loved her anyway, because Naomi Shemer was convinced that the words were inappropriate in the difficult atmosphere of the war, and the large number of families who received terrible news about their loved ones by the messenger knocking at the door. So this is from 50 years ago, the Yom Kippur War, but it still works. And again, it's a response to tragedy, to the hardship, to the loss of life in that war. And it also gives hope, and it's a prayer. And I'm trying to get to the next page. My computer is a little slow. So there we go, finally. These are the words. So you have here transliteration, so you could follow me. As well, you have the English words. And so let's just take a look at them, the English, before. I know a lot of us know this song, so you could join me, please. And I wish we were sometimes together so I could hear your beautiful voices. And it says here, and if in the evening windows, the light of the holiday candles flickers, reference to Yom Kippur, but now it's a reference to Simchat Torah, right? The lights that we light for all the Jewish holidays. It's really powerful. And it flickers, right? That light flickers. Like now we have these sad associations with these holidays as well. And I know our Simchat Torah this year was not the same as in other years. Oops. Sorry, hang on here. I think I accidentally pressed the button. Let me get it restarted. And I have to reshare. Sorry about that. I accidentally touched my keyboard. Okay, so here we go. So may it be, right? Let it be, not may it be. Not let it be, may it be. It's a prayer. Please, may it be all that we seek, may it be. That's the chorus. Lu Yehi. if the messenger is at the door, this is the one that was sometimes omitted in some concerts, put a kind word in his mouth. All that we ask for may it be. And I mentioned there were, 10 or 11 soldiers who we just got news overnight who lost their lives. If your request to be not die after flowering and after harvest, all that we seek, may it be. What is the sound that I hear? The cry of the shofar and the sound of the drums. All that we seek for, may it be. That is also heard among them, a prayer in my mouth. All that we seek, may it be. Within a small shaded neighborhood is a small house with a red roof. All that we ask for, may it be. This is the end of the summer, the end of the path. Allow them to return safely here. That's the number. That's the line that actually gave me the goosebumps. Ten lahem lashuv halom. May they return. I mean, the hostages, the soldiers. We want everyone to return safely here. All that we seek may it be. And if suddenly, rising from the darkness over our heads, the light of a star shines, all that we ask for may it be, then grant tranquility and also grant strength to all those we love. All that we seek, may it be. Those are the words. And here's the melody. יש מפלס לבן באופק, מול ענן שחור כבד, כל שנבקש לו יהי. ואם בחלונות הערב, או נרות החג רועד, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, ענן, לו יהי, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, ענן, יהי, כל שנבקש יהי. I'm going to go slow and end so you can follow me. I'm going to go to Betoch Shchuna, the second last paragraph, because I feel that's the one that we'll do the second last paragraph and the last paragraph slowly, and so you can follow along in the Hebrew. Here we go. Betoch Shchuna Ktana. One moment. בתוך שכונה קטנה מוצלת, בית קט עם גג אדום, כל שנבקש לו יהי. זה סוף הקיץ, סוף הדרך, תן להם לשוב הלום, כל שנבקש יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, ענן, לו יהי, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, ענן, לו יהי, כל שנבקש לו יהי. Last verse. ואם פתאום יזרח מעופר, על ראשנו או כוכב, כל שנבקש לו יהי. אז תן שלווה, give us tranquility, ותן גם כוח, give us strength, לכל אלה שנאהב, to all those we love as well, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, יהי כל שנבקש.
Very nice. Thank you, Rabbi.
May it be, may it be.
Was noch?
Was noch? My mother sent us something. So let me find it. My mother sent us something, and I told her I'd be with you today, and she's in San Francisco, as I mentioned. So she sent me something that I want to share with you, that she suggested I share with you. This is a brand new, hot off the press from the Chazan, the cantor of the top cantor of Tzahal. This is a prayer also for our soldiers, and I'm going to share this with you in just a moment, as soon as my computer responds. And here we go. So I just put this into the slides here just before we started. Oh, here we go. So now it's all good. Thanks for your patience. And so this is prayer for the soldiers, and we think of them and pray for their safety. Some of the stuff that they're doing, no military has ever had to do before, and it's unbelievable what they're doing to protect people like my mother. I can share some of my testimony. Let me just share just a moment. And like, this has been going on for years, that Ashkelon has been hit by rockets, and my mother's been very traumatized. Like one time she was in the shower and she didn't have time to run to the bomb shelter, and I was just there visiting her in March. I was there with my two boys, and 3 a.m, the alarm went off, and I had a choice to make, a parental choice. Do I run directly to the bomb shelter, or do I try to wake up my boys? And so I had good parental instincts. I ran to wake up my boys, Noam and Nathaniel. And by the time I woke them up, it was too late. The alarm was off, because you only have 15 seconds, and we heard the booms. And thank God we weren't hurt. But the building next door to my mom was hit, and people don't talk about it. That the hospital where my dad died was hit twice. The Israeli Barzilai hospital, and thank God people had heard the siren and they fled. But it's very tough times in Ashkelon, and so I, for one, I'm grateful for people who are trying to. And there's no impossible situation, such a difficult situation, but people who are putting their lives at stake to try to protect my mother and me and my kids. And we don't know when my mother's going to be able to go back to Ashkelon, if she's going to have a house to come back to, apartment. And so it's our hope and our prayer that those who are protecting us are also protected. And this is the traditional prayer for Tzahal, for the Israeli Defense Forces.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב הוא יברך את חיילי צבא נשמע ארצנו בהרי אלוהינו מהלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא הערבה ביבשה אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשי ידיהם ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויעטרם בכתר ישועה ובעטרת ניצחון ויקוים בהם הכתוב כי אדוני אלוהיכם הולך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם להושיע
This is amazing, Rabbi. This is really amazing. So beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, they just before last Shabbat, they put it together. And
it is amazing, really.
Yeah. So
thank you. You did a great research, Rabbi. Thank you.
I tried to put together, what has been giving me some chizuk, so some strength.
Rabbi Schachar Orenstein, this chaplain or this cantor, did he sing this song, make this prayer now for the soldiers now, or was this, okay. I know he's been a cantor for the RDF for a few years, so he's still in that position. Can you give me his name?
It said, I can get it. I can get it to you. Yeah, I don't. But it's he's the chief cantor of the IDF. I forget his name. I had it.
I've seen him before. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, and if anybody wants any of these clips, I can also forward them to you. And so there's many ways we can respond to the situation. I think some people were at the rally, right? You recognize this?
Oh, yeah, this is our rally.
Oh.
It's Acheinu. That's our Acheinu. Yes.
There's
a big every year.
Yeah, there was a big one on Sunday too. I couldn't be there, but there were quite a few people from the community who were there.
You were with us every year, Rabbi.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few, and there's different ways of responding. So I have one friend who.
Yeah, good. Thank you for bringing our picture.
I thought you might appreciate this one. And yeah, because the point is that there's stuff that we can do. There's so many ways that we can offer comfort and support. And I know some people have been donating, and some people have been writing, and some people have been calling their families, being in contact with family and friends, asking how you do. And it goes a long way. And they see this in Israel, like I can't believe it. They in their news they say there was a rally in Montreal, or on their news. So they appreciate to hear and to know that there are people who care, from far, even from a distance.
Rabbi, I want
Yes.
to tell you and everybody that I'm very proud that my granddaughter, who went to Israel, she's 18, and she went to Israel a few months ago, and her parents got her tickets to come back to Montreal. She won't come back. She's working with displaced children.
Mm-hmm.
Doing arts and crafts, games, talking, telling stories,
Wow.
and she feels purposeful and very happy that she can play a role.
Beautiful. Anybody else? This is a good place if anybody else wants to share something that they've been doing, and to support family or friends, or someone you've been inspired by, perhaps.
You have any recording of Yerushalayim Shel Zahav?
That's funny. Funny you should ask. I thought you might ask that, and so that's also Naomi Shemer. I mean, we heard a snippet of it, and I know that's a famous one. And I was going to ask at a certain point if people have certain requests, and I anticipated that someone might ask that one. So I have it right here. Here, share video, and there you go. Look at that. Look how prepared I am for you. This is Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, which is possibly the best well-known, right, most well-known Israeli song in response to war, that everybody really loves. And it was written before the Six-Day War. And then there's another verse that was added after the Six-Day War, right? Because it was talked about the Libah Choma, there's this wall separating Jerusalem. But afterwards, that separation was gone after the Six-Day War. So let's Chazarnu El Borot HaMayim. We've returned. It talks about returning to normalcy, normal life, the sun shining again, and to those places that we couldn't access. And here we go. Avir harim tzalul kayayin bereach orani נישא ברוח ארבעים מכל העמים ופטר במטילן ואבן שבויה בחלומה העיר אשר בדד יושבת בליבה חומה ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושלו עלו לכל שירייך ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושלו עלו לכל שירייך So it's a very hopeful song that our hopes and dreams and wishes can come true. And speaking of hope, let me back up here if I may. We should not lose hope because where is that one? This one. Don't lose hope, because even Moses was a basket case, which is a little joke. Basket case means a little bit neurotic and having, so even Moses, our people experience hard times in Egypt, right? And not to lose hope. We've experienced great, I think some of the world's worst horrors, and we have a long list, and not to lose hope. Gladys, you asked me to end with Hatikva, which is all about hope and not losing hope. Yes?
We are ending already.
Okay, well before Hatikva, then I get your message. We'll do one last song before Hatikva, which is also a hopeful song, right? About Jacob's.
Gladys is a hard lady to refuse. You can't.
It's hard to say no to Gladys. So think of this as a kind of encore.
Gently suggests it, and then you.
Rabbi, we have enough of being with you.
Thank you. I prepared a lot of other songs. Some we'll save them for another time, and a lot of other songs of comfort. And this is one that many people have been singing at this time, and that we're still alive, and to appreciate and to be grateful that we're still alive, that Israel is still alive, the people of Israel is alive, and not to be afraid. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Chai. O Davidu Chai, O Davidu Chai. O Davidu, O Davidu, O Davidu Chai. O Davidu Chai, O Davidu Chai. O Davidu, O Davidu, O Davidu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Chai. Lai 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 lai. We're so dedicated to life, to saving life, to celebrating life. We understand the sanctity, the preciousness of life. And one final prayer, actually before Hatikva, which is I got from one of my rabbis who you saw at the beginning, one of my teachers, who put the fragile stickers on everyone. And one of the blessings that he's been and prayers that he's been using is, may we hurt no more. And that's my prayer for all of us. May we hurt no more as we come to right.
Amazing, amazing, Rabbi, amazing.
We should gather, or we can celebrate more fully. And when we can celebrate more fully. Thank you, everybody, for being here so we can be together, which is already so consoling and comforting and wonderful to be together.
Thank you, Rabbi.
I want to say one thing, and I say it so often to myself and to everybody I meet just about, and I feel it especially now. I am so, so proud to be a Jew, and I've always felt blessed to be a Jew, and I think it is a special blessing. I know it comes with responsibilities, it comes with a load of history on your back, on your shoulders, but it's still a phenomenal, but maybe despite that or with that, because of that, it's a phenomenal blessing. We live the past, we live the present, we live the future in the sense that we have hope. We have gotten wisdom, the wealth of wisdom from our forefathers, and most of us are passing this on. And for that, I have a lot of hope for the future. And I love Israel, and I love the Jewish people, and I thank God for making me Jewish.
Very
Amen.
nice, very nice, Gigi, very nice.
Well said.
Thank you, Rabbi. As I said, we never have enough being with you. You did such a beautiful research and beautiful variety. Everything was so beautiful. Especially we saw Hannah and we play with her, and she's a nice, beautiful young lady now. And we saw Ayal Beton and his wife, and everything that you showed us was a great research that you did, and beautiful variety. You made us feel much better than we were before. And that was the idea. You called it chizuk, to strengthen us. And you did it. And we really appreciate everything you do for us. It was a beautiful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah.
Irina, so nice to see you.
Yeah, so nice to see you all.
Yeah, you look good. How is your son David? He must be a young man by now.
Yeah, he's much bigger.
I haven't seen him for a long time.
Yeah.
Irina is also wearing blue. It seems to be the favorite color today. So many of us are wearing blue.
I'm going to stop the recording in this case, just to make sure that.
Yeah, but this picture is good.